In rock and metal history, fame has never been a reliable measure of talent.
I've been king of my mountain.
Some bands rewrote the rules, influenced the biggest names in music, and delivered performances that left legends in the dust, yet never received the credit they deserve. These are 12 overlooked bands that outplayed the legends. Number 12, Budgie. One of the earliest heavy metal bands on the planet, Budgie influenced the entire new wave of British heavy metal and were noted as among the heaviest metal of their day. Their debut arrived in 1971, recorded at Rockfield Studios with Black Sabbath producer Roger Bain. A riff-driven statement that virtually nobody heard at the time. Iron Maiden, Metallica, Van Halen, and Soundgarden all cited Budgie as a formative influence. Metallica covered Bread Fan, a track from Budgie's 1973 third album Never Turn Your Back on a Friend, releasing it as a B-side in September 1988, before including it on their 1998 album Garage Inc. The Legends borrowed the blueprint. Budgie wrote it first. Number 11, UFO. Their iconic 1979 live album, Strangers in the Night, is frequently cited as one of the greatest live recordings in rock history and reached the top 10 in the UK. In 1973, the band recruited an 18-year-old Michael Schenker from the Scorpions, marking a shift from their earlier space rock sound toward a harder-edged direction. UFO's influence was strongly felt across the 1980s metal scene, cited as a primary influence by Steve Harris of Iron Maiden, Kirk Hammett of Metallica, Dave Mustaine of Megadeth, Joey Tempest of Europe, and Frank Hannon of Tesla. They served as a critical bridge between early hard rock and the new wave of British heavy metal. The legends acknowledge the debt UFO never collected. Number 10, Montrose. Montrose was the original Californian hard rock band, pioneering the kind of short and punchy songs ready-made for arenas that would become a template for later and more successful bands, such as Van Halen. Their debut studio album was released in October 1973 by Warner Brothers, produced by Ted Templeman, and marks the career debut of singer Sammy Hagar, who would later achieve significant success as a solo artist and as a member of Van Halen.
Have you heard the news? It's good rockin' tonight.
Classic Rock magazine described the debut's sound as primeval pandemonium topped with liberal amounts of cool American gloss, but it was not successful upon release, peaking at number 133 on the US Billboard 200. The 1973 debut album eventually proved to be an international sleeper hit, selling in excess of 1 million copies and attaining platinum status in 1986. The blueprint was there from day one. The credit arrived 13 years too late. Number 9, Anvil. Their earliest records landed on Attic Records, a small Canadian independent label without the muscle to push them into the American market. Metal on Metal in 1982 and Forged in Fire in 1983, both produced by Chris Tsangarides, cemented their standing as pioneers of speed metal and thrash. Both albums are widely credited with shaping the aggressive sound that defined Metallica, Slayer, Anthrax, and Megadeth. In the 2008 documentary, Slash stated that as big as an influence they had on everybody just sort of ripped them off, and then sort of just left them for dead. The Big Four built empires on a foundation Anvil poured first. Before we continue, which of these overlooked bands have you actually heard of? Were you spinning Anvil records back in the day while everyone around you was chasing the mainstream? Drop a comment below and let us know where in the world you are watching from. Number 8, Accept. German bands rarely broke through to American audiences during the early 1980s, but Accept came closer than almost anyone realized. Dave Mustaine of Megadeth and Kirk Hammett of Metallica both cited them as formative influences, and their precision and aggression left unmistakable marks on American heavy metal. Their 1979 self-titled debut launched a relentless decade of releases that US radio almost completely ignored, while flashier domestic acts soaked up every available spotlight. Their 1983 album, Balls to the Wall, delivered a crushing title track that became a hard rock anthem and helped the record earn gold certification in the United States, while selling over 2 million copies worldwide. Tracks like Fast as a Shark from their 1982 album Restless and Wild are widely credited as some of the earliest proto-speed metal recordings ever committed to tape. 6 studio albums between 1979 and 1986, a fraction of the airplay they earned. Number 7. Nazareth. Their 1975 album Hair of the Dog produced a title track built on one of the hardest driving riff progressions in the entire decade, a song so ferocious it still sounds dangerous today. Nazareth had been recording since 1971, and by the time that album arrived, they already had a battle-hardened catalog that most of their peers could only envy. Their 1973 records Razamanaz and Loud and Proud delivered full-power Scottish hard rock with consistent energy and craft. While Deep Purple and Black Sabbath were elevated to legendary status and placed permanently in the conversation about the greatest heavy rock bands of all time, Nazareth's equally ferocious output was consistently left off the list. More than 20 studio albums released over 5 decades, a loyal live following that never wavered. The mainstream spotlight simply moved in a different direction and never came back. Number 6. Icon. Before the music video age handed careers to the most photogenic acts on the planet, raw talent and razor-sharp songwriting were supposed to be enough. For Icon, they were not enough. This Arizona-based hard rock and metal band released Night of the Crime in 1985, an album packed with anthemic riffs, powerful vocals, and choruses that rivaled anything on mainstream rock radio at the time. While Quiet Riot, Rat, and Cinderella received MTV rotations and major label promotional backing, Icon were left without the exposure their material genuinely deserved. Their 1984 self-titled debut had already announced them as serious contenders for the top tier of American hard rock. Night of the Crime confirmed every promise that debut made. Both records remain cult favorites among hard rock enthusiasts who discovered them long after the commercial window had closed. Number 5. Crimson Glory. At the height of the progressive metal movement in the late 1980s, vocalist Midnight was already being spoken of in the same breath as Jeff Tate of Queensryche. Crimson Glory released their self-titled debut in 1986 and followed it with Transcendence in 1988. 2 albums demonstrating a mastery of melody, atmosphere, and technical precision that few bands of any era could match. The band wore metallic silver masks on stage and built a visual and sonic identity entirely their own. Despite ranking alongside Queensryche and Fate's Warning as a founding force in progressive metal, Crimson Glory never achieved comparable commercial success. Their combination of soaring vocals, complex arrangements, and heavy guitar work set a standard the mainstream simply refused to reward. Midnight passed away in 2009, leaving behind a catalog that grows in critical reputation with every passing year. Which of these bands did you catch live back in the day? Drop your stories in the comments and tell us where in the world you are watching from. We want to hear from you. Number 4. Y&T. The night their tour bus rolled into another half-empty venue while Van Halen was selling out arenas across the country, Y&T had already released 2 of the finest hard rock albums of the entire decade. Guitarist Dave Meniketti was widely regarded among peers as one of the most technically gifted and emotionally resonant players in California hard rock. Yet his name barely registered in mainstream rock journalism or radio programs.
Like a song on a wave from across the sea. Like a
Their 1981 album Earthshaker and their 1982 follow-up Black Tiger delivered riff-driven hard rock with genuine craftsmanship and an energy level very few bands could sustain across a full record. Label mismanagement and limited radio support kept Y&T permanently anchored in the underground, grinding through tour after tour without ever receiving the commercial breakthrough their material earned. Their influence on American hard rock is heard clearly in the generation that followed. Number 3. Blackfoot.
We'll see sunshine again.
200 nights a year on the road. Opening slots for AC/DC, ZZ Top, and Aerosmith across North America. A live reputation so ferocious that fellow musicians regularly cited their performances as some of the most powerful they had ever witnessed. Blackfoot spent the late 1970s and early 1980s earning a place at the very top of American hard rock through sheer, relentless effort and raw musical muscle.
And I've been king of my mountain.
Their 1979 album Strikes remains a landmark of southern-tinged hard rock, featuring Train Train and Highway Song, tracks that delivered everything the genre promised and then some. Ricky Medlock, their frontman and driving force, later joined Lynyrd Skynyrd and brought that same concentrated power to a dramatically larger stage. Blackfoot deserved that stage from day one. The crowd just took a long time to show up.
And adrift on the sea, but I know.
Number 2. Captain Beyond. In 1971, a supergroup assembled from the fragments of some of rock's most powerful bands and produced one of the most ferociously overlooked debut albums in hard rock history. Rod Evans, the original vocalist of Deep Purple, joined forces with members of Iron Butterfly and Johnny Winter's band to form a group whose self-titled debut arrived in 1972, fully formed, and immediately vanished from public memory. The 1972 Captain Beyond album is a relentless demonstration of proto-metal craft, with crushing guitar work, dynamic drumming, and a vocal performance from Evans that ranks among his finest recorded work. Despite their supergroup caliber lineup and the undeniable quality of their output, the band dissolved almost as quickly as they had formed. They left behind one of heavy rock's great unfinished stories, a debut record that still stuns anyone who stumbles across it today. Number 1. Armored Saint. When Los Angeles was handing record deals to any band that could tease their hair and smile for a camera, Armored Saint refused to play that game. They built their name on raw musicianship and a punishing live show, earning a fierce underground following before most of their peers had found a rehearsal space. March of the Saint in 1984 and Delirious Nomad in 1985 delivered exactly what American metal needed, yet major commercial success stayed just out of reach. Considered America's answer to Iron Maiden and Judas Priest, vocalist John Bush later joined Anthrax, bringing that same intensity to a far larger audience. Their influence on American power metal is still heard clearly today.